Rachel, and today I'm going to be telling you about Section 9 and the Milan Art Mastery Program. If you're watching this video, you're probably doing a little bit of research to see whether or not you want to join the Mastery Program and whether it's for you. Well, if you want to see why I joined, you can go back and watch video 1 or the intro video about why I decided to pivot and change from doing digital illustration to learning how to oil paint. But this program is so much more than oil painting. It begins with laying the foundation of how to draw accurately and realistically. But the Milans are teaching us how to take a resource picture and be able to take that and lay it down on our media, on our canvas, on our paper, and have it look like the real thing and not like a cartoon version of it. I really appreciate this. It is a lot of hard work, and having all these projects to draw of things that I would never attempt to draw before having taken this class. And so I'm super glad that they've put us through these rigorous drawing exercises. Like I said, some of them I would have never attempted to draw before taking this program because I wouldn't have wanted to. I'll be like, I don't need to draw that. I don't want to draw that. I know it wouldn't turn out good anyway. But I find these exercises to be so important. Everything that they have chosen for us to draw in this program is to teach us something. So Section 9, what was this week all about? This week was about directional mark making and Impressionism. The first project we worked on this week was an Impressionism oil painting. Layer is basically just lay down a bunch of marks. The idea in Impressionism is to lay down colors straight from the tube, and as long as you have some pastel radiant colors. I don't have any pastels, so I did have to mix my pastels on the palette, but basically I was laying down some straight from the tube Prussian blues and Payne's gray and some pinks that I mixed and some straight yellows and some straight oranges. And the idea is as you layer on more and more paint, those two colors next to each other give an impression. So when you see a red and green, your eye translates that as a shade of brown. So this was a super fun project. In fact, when I was starting it, I was like, I'm not going to really do a great job with this Impressionism. I like seeing Impressionistic work, but honestly, I don't think that that's my style. But the more I got into it, the more fun I had because it was so different than trying to draw something in a realistic way. It was truly having fun. It was truly not worrying about how something's going to turn out and just putting some color down. I found it was kind of like, I felt like I was making a clown picture, and I laughed while I was doing it, just like, oh, I'm going to pop some green over here, some pink in the water, and some, bright red and some orange, and I'm like, this is going to look so ugly. But when you step back from the picture, it's amazing how good it looks. So I was so surprised that I entirely enjoyed painting in the Impressionistic manner. So this is my final result, and this has 3 layers of paint on it. When you're putting down your final layer, you should have larger paint strokes towards the foreground to show that it's closer to you, and the smaller paint marks towards the background. So that's one of the keys in doing this, as well as putting your cool tones in the background, and cool tones were the animal curves to the background. So that's the Impressionistic oil painting we made. The next one we did was directional mark making with white pencil on black paper. We started off with white chalk, and I went out and bought some literal chalkboard chalk, as well as I had a white charcoal pencil and a white China marker. I love doing this. At the beginning, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to erase anything, but starting with chalk, you can dust that away. So I put a grid here to start because I wanted to make sure I centered it, and I worked out from the center outward. I'm really excited with how this turned out. It reminds me of the scratch art we did as kids. It was a fun project to do and I like it. So the next project we did was John Milan's L-Theory Doodles. John explained this as a kind of tiling. If you lay down a bunch of little L shapes here, then you can go and let your mind just dump onto the paper those thoughts and ideas that come to your head while you're doodling. It reminds me of what we did back in 8th grade when we would keep those notebooks, the spiral notebooks that we would decorate and doodle while the teacher was talking. And I haven't done that since like middle school, so I found that the most interesting thing about this was what John said, and he said that those ideas that come to your head and you put them down on paper, you begin to see a consistency or certain things that pop up over and over again, certain themes, certain types of marks that you personally like, and over time you see the marks that you're fond of, and those marks can become the marks that you include in your oil paintings. And I really, really like that idea, and I would have never thought of this. And so I find that the idea of tapping into your subconscious and those things that you really naturally like. So I found that I do use a lot of lines, and I like to do curvy lines. I like to do curvy scroll marks, and these kind of lines, and maybe some leaf marks. So I kind of feel that in the future when I'm doing paintings, some of those type of lines might crop up. So this was a fun exercise. It doesn't look pretty. I think I would want to do a couple more doodles to find out my personal marks that I like, my personal style type of marks. But this was a super fun project and one that I would not have done. So don't skip this project, because every project that they ask us to do has a reason behind it. And this one is to help you find those marks that you naturally gravitate towards and that you can use in your personal style. So the last project we worked on was doing an abstract graphite and charcoal mark making exercise while listening to a piece of music. I enjoyed this, and I thought, I don't think I ever want to do an abstract again without having music playing in the background. I love music. I grew up playing the piano. I actually performed with the orchestra about 4 or 5 times doing those young performer concerts when I was from 8th grade all the way through high school. I don't play the piano anymore, and so this harks back to the days, and for some reason I had to pop that treble clef in. It's not really a treble clef, but anyway, hints at music. I put the sheet music marks here. I didn't really intend to make some obvious marks, and that's not the idea of this project, but it just came out that way, as well as the strawberry looking thing. This was meant to be an oval egg with some marks like this, but the more I added charcoal to it, it just turned into a strawberry. I really didn't want it to, but hey, that's what happened. And I found this to be super fun. I used a fan brush to create these circular marks, as well as in this area. I tried to load up my brush with water and get this to drip, but I found that graphite powder doesn't drip very well. It might have something to do with like surface tension, I don't really know, but I wanted it to drip, didn't happen. I love doing these marks like this. We've done a lot of projects where we subtract with an eraser, and so I had to add that in here as well. This was a fun project, and once again, don't skip these little things because they all help you find your personal style. So section 9 is over. I've completed it, and I'm moving on to section 10, and we'll look forward to seeing what that is all about. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions about the Milan Art Mastery Program and want to hear from somebody who's in it, feel free to drop a question in the comments below, and I'll be glad to get back with you about that. Or just go over to the Milan Art YouTube channel and ask them questions directly. Thanks for watching, and please hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and now go make some art today.